Cry Freedom Soundbite number 34. Wednesday the 18th of October 2017. Okay, well I'm actually recording this on the end of the evening of Tuesday the 17th, but I'll put it out tomorrow on Wednesday. It's just gone 11:30 p.m. and I'm lying in my caravan under my 2 duvets now because it's suddenly gone cool again after it getting warmer. And I just kind of, as usual with me, my mind goes everywhere at this time of night, and I probably should meditate more and stuff, but you know, you can't help it, can you? You have to evaluate the day's happenings, and it tends to be when you lie down and everything goes quiet. So it's just been such weird times, hasn't it? And I know a lot of you are feeling it, and I know there's a lot of people, there seems to be very two extremes at the moment. There's a lot of people feeling very negative and fed up and, you know, almost giving up. And there's the opposite. There's a lot of people that seem to be very, very full of life and feeling what's going on in a positive way, which is great. And that's what I'm trying to do. Obviously, there's other bits that get in your way, but on the whole, I'm trying to be as positive as I can and looking forward to the future, even though I've really got no idea what it's going to be. But then again, none of us do we really? So, where to start? Well, yesterday was actually my brother's 50th birthday, and it was marked by a very, very surreal day for many of us. We've had all these, well, before all of that, we've had all the stuff that's been going on in California with the fires, which is all extremely odd, but I'll go into that in a moment. Portugal is ablaze yet again, and there's all sorts of other stuff going on. Chaos everywhere, as has been foretold for many, many, many a time. And I suppose one of the big questions that a lot of us ask ourselves is this foretelling, is it being controlled completely and utterly by certain unscrupulous people that are deliberately bringing it to this head in whatever way they can? Or is a lot of this to do with time, the universe, and whatever you want to think that is? That's one of the questions, one of many. So anyway, yesterday, apart from being my brother's birthday, it was really odd because we'd had all these warnings of this tail-end hurricane that was heading our way, Ophelia. That for me in itself has been odd because, as I've said before, I lost my mother in June this year, and I've been trying to find bits of things to sell to try and get a bit of money together because I've literally got nothing. I've literally got less than £1 to my name at the moment, and I'm not saying that in any way to sort of moan and groan or beg or anything like that. It's just the fact of the situation. And I'm able to stay here where I am at the moment because of my brother, who's paying the rent now and getting the shock of his life after being sort of never having to worry about these things much all of his life. Suddenly now at 50 he's having to sort of deal with it all, and many changes for everybody at the moment, I have to say. I'm going off on different tangents here and forgetting the points I'm trying to make. Ophelia, I had a picture. We have had a lot. Well, my mum was really into framing pictures of art and things. She was into some lovely things. She loved gardening, she loved trees, she loved nature, she loved animals, she loved art, reading, you know, she loved the planet, and she did try to help politically when she believed that she didn't actually realise the futility of the parties that we have, which is the way I see it now. You know, it's just part of the game, isn't it? But she actually thought that Labour meant something, voting Labour was a good thing, and she did a bit of campaigning for them and joined the party for a short while, and did her bit, so to speak, even though it kind of was hard for her to do, going door to door and that type of thing. But anyway, one of the pictures that she'd framed was a large picture in our living room, and I didn't know who it was. It was a woman, sort of a painting of a woman sitting by a lake in times gone by, and I only found out when I looked at the title that it was Ophelia. And I've got to confess, I didn't even know who Ophelia was because I've never read Hamlet at school or since. So I looked at all of that up and found out exactly what it all stood for, and Hamlet, and to be or not to be, and all of that, which was quite relevant actually. And I put this picture up for sale, and it was bought by a lovely person that came to buy it, who I've actually stayed in touch with. And then the next thing I find out a few weeks later is that we've got Hurricane Ophelia heading up, which was kind of ironic. And synchronicities are just sort of abound at the minute for many of us. Yeah, so we had this weird day yesterday, and I got up, my brother left work probably about 5:30 because he was on earlies, so I was awake, and I usually am anyway. And when it started getting light at about 7, I stuck my head out the door just to sort of see what the weather was doing, and the sky was just so weird. It was, as many of you knew and saw, it was this weird orange sheen on the sky. It reminded me of when the sky's been full of snow in the past, and you've had those really weird skies when you know that it's just gonna snow like hell. It was like that, only even stranger. And it continued, and it was only sort of towards the middle of the afternoon, I think, that it cleared and we finally got like normal sun, but even then it was a bit odd. And then I started obviously seeing all the pictures that were coming in from around the country of people posting all these weird sights, and especially down in London. And again, you know, those of us that sort of see beyond the illusion and have knowledge of what we believe is going on with certain people that seem to be running the show, and a lot more of other things above all of that, but obviously a lot of people would be worrying about what all this meant. Was it the end of the world? Was it Nibiru coming, Planet X, all this stuff, you know? And I kind of was thinking to myself, what is all this? I didn't think it was anything like that, but I thought, is this a deliberate attempt of weather manipulation and whatever technology they have to instill fear in people and put people ill at ease? Was it all part of the ritualistic stuff that's going on this year like never before, because this is the year, and so you know, none of us really know what to think exactly, and this is what it's been like for so long now, but this year has been the culmination of the unknowing of the future, if we even have one, because there's so many tales of doom and gloom and fear and all this terrible stuff out there that people can read and look at, and you have to try and weigh all of that up with the positivity that you feel as well, and the hope for the future, and seeing that more people are starting to be aware of these things, and that the word apocalypse does indeed seem to mean, instead of end of the world, the unveiling of everything, because everything seems to be coming out right now. And it's just this, again, you know, the term merry-go-round is so apt, isn't it? Because that's exactly what it is. It's this fast merry-go-round that's spinning around quicker and quicker every week. And so we're all in this, and I was thinking this, and I did this post earlier in the week on Facebook, that we are amazing people, because when you look at what's being held at us all, not only just enduring and getting through your everyday life, but once you start seeing all these other things that most don't, you know, it's a wonder we get through anything, really, because it just is so mind-bogglingly difficult and good and bad at the same time. You know, it's just wow, isn't it? And that's why we all feel so restless, and I think that's why so many people aren't sleeping. And I mentioned this again the other day about the REM sleep, which is sort of really interesting, but it's all of this surreal stuff that's reaching ahead. And again, October, we've been warned about October a few times for this, that and the other. And after seeing what happened in California, and I was looking at some of the videos from that, I've been spreading them around, you know, what that was just so odd, that so-called forest fire, there was no way a forest fire with these things that are left standing, trees around them and wheelie bins that are intact, and the houses are reduced to dust with absolutely nothing left, and it's just like, what? It's so weird. So I've been looking at a lot of that, and obviously that makes you wonder again what that is. What was that? Was that another ritual? Was it some kind of warning, or was indeed it something else? On maybe a positive, good side? It's so hard to sort of to know, isn't it? When you can't really know. You have to just feel, I suppose, and go with what feels right for you. That's what I keep saying, because that's all we can do, isn't it? And then again, on Monday, I was getting reports of the fires in Portugal being horrendous, and that was one of the reasons that they blamed for the sky being so orange. So it's, you know, it's the world's on fire, literally and metaphorically, isn't it? And again today, I've had something that came out of the blue. It seems that the people that own the house that I'm sort of currently in, and I will be moving soon, by the way, I am going down to work on a farm in South Wales. It's been delayed slightly because of building work that's going on, but it's all good, and I'm hoping to definitely be there before Christmas. Just not sure quite when yet, but But again, today out of the blue, we got news saying that the people that own the house, the landlord, basically, it looks like to all intent and purpose, they've decided to sell the house. So this has been my family house for half a century. That sounds forever, doesn't it? But it feels like forever. I was 1 when my parents moved here, 50 years ago. So it's been here all my life, and the garden, as you all know, that I sit in, post pictures from daily during the summer. That was a garden that my mother created from nothing. And it feels like it's our house, but obviously, even though we probably paid for it 10 times over, it isn't, and that's just the way the world works. So I think we've basically been told that we've got 6 months to sort of make other arrangements, which I'm going to be doing anyway, but it's going to hit my brother because he's never left home. Confirmed bachelor, it's going to be strange for him. But again, we have to welcome change in every way because it leads to something better and something that is meant to be in some way. And whether that's true or not, again, who knows? But if you don't think that, if you think the opposite, then it's not going to help anybody, is it? So you have to think positively about these things and see them as a thrust forward to somewhere that you need to move to. And that's what I'm doing. That's what I've been doing for years now. That was for me, the turning point was when I did give up my house and my job 7 years ago and moved back here. And I've never really been settled since then. I've got stuff shoved in corners all over the place, and that's the other massive job I've got to finish sorting out all this stuff, and I'm not going to be able to take much with me, so a lot of it is just going to have to be either sold or discarded. And again, this is something else that I've been hearing and I've felt recently, is that the more that we own, the more that we're tied down, and the more that we are actually prisoners. And it makes sense now, because let's face it, they say one of the most stressful things is moving house, and that's because you're moving every single thing that you possess. You have to move to somewhere else, if you're lucky. And so that's why. So I know Kai Bowman's been talking about this as well the last few months, and that he's been getting rid of lots of things that he realises he doesn't need, and we hoard so much stuff. And the stuff here that I moved with 7 years ago, I've never looked at since, but we still feel almost a reluctance of letting it go. But it's letting go of the past, isn't it? It's letting go of something that's holding you back, and that's how I see it now. So I fully intend to move with the bare minimum that I can get away with, just the essentials really, clothing and the things that you need, bedding, that kind of thing, bit of food. But there's so much that I'm just going to have to leave and get rid of, and it's all good, and that's how I'm seeing it. And I think that's one of the strongest messages for people out there at this moment in time, is don't let anything pull you down. Just see, we have to believe in a future for ourselves and the planet. And there's a lot of people that think that the so-called powers that be are in the last throes of it now, and this is like a final sort of going out gesture. So if we don't believe that, what's the alternative? We believe that all the other horror stories we've heard are true, and we're going to end up being nothing more than robots trying to exist in a robot world, whatever way you want to look at it. Artificial intelligence, all this stuff. What do you want to believe? You see, again, we're getting to another thing here that says that what you believe will be, what you give out, the energy that you really feel strongly will be what creates the world around you. And if you believe that, then what other way can you think other than positively? There's no other way, is there? So that's what I'm doing, and that's what I urge everybody else to do. No matter what you believe in, just try and be positive, and just try and feel love for those around you, both physically and virtually, because that's what matters, and that's what will see us through all of this. And again, and I keep saying this again and again and again, there are so many good people out there doing good things. And if you stop watching all the crap on the TV, news, and the mainstream rubbish that tries to make us think the opposite, stop doing that. You need to look at the good stuff and fill your heart with love and warmth for the beauty of humanity. Because the negativity has to be there, but I still can't help but feel the positivity outweighs it, because most people are good, inherently good, and want to help others. So believe that as much as you can, feel it, know it, and do it and be it. And when I do move, I will be doing the shows that I've said I'm going to do. I'm going to be talking about what I'm doing and just sharing. I think we have to share our passions and our experiences with each other. And it's like a bartering of ideas and minds, isn't it? And hearts. And again, I believe very much in the bartering of the physical stuff too. I think because that's essentially what I'm going to be doing when I move. I'm going to be exchanging my labour and whatever comes with that for food and lodging, and that's fine with me. You know, it's with good people in a good place and who want it and are happy for that long term, and that works out fantastic for me. So we all have to look for these opportunities outside of the system, I think, now, as much as you can, and try and give back as much as you can to the planet. And we need to look at a whole different way to live, because the way that we're living at the moment is materialistic. It is purging this planet of its beauty and its, well, what it's provided for people to live on. But we are destroying ourselves again. You know, you have to go back to the old Indian prophecies here to see. We're basically, we can't eat money, folks. You know, so unless we all get together and fight for ourselves and our lives and our future, then, you know, you might as well just start eating your money. You might have to soon. So, well, it's not a laughing matter, but we have to keep smiling, because again, it's all part of keeping your chin up and the positivity going. So, and I was speaking to someone recently about life choices, so about the options that we have in life, and that sometimes it can appear that we don't have a choice because of circumstances, but in actual fact we always do. But there's always different paths that can be taken and different ways of looking at things, and I suppose a lot of it sort of depends on whether you judge it by love of others, for others, or love for yourself, or a little bit of both. There's so many factors that can judge the way that you move forward in this existence, and I think it's just a question of us realising that, and realising that obviously one choice leads to another different choice, to another different choice, and again, it's all part of life's rich tapestry. But I think one of the most important things to take in, that I'm learning to embrace, is that we should, and this is something that one of my friends, David Best in California, speaks of a lot, and he's written a book about it. It's about the fact that we should look upon every change in our life has to be viewed almost as a step forward, and it's a thrusting forward to a place that you would never probably have gone if you stayed in your comfort zone. So it's almost like we're forced, because of things that happen to us, we're actually forced to make decisions that we wouldn't normally have made. And if we don't do this, and I said this I think previously, if we all lived in like this utopia all the time, never having to sort of worry about anything ever, we wouldn't really learn anything, would we? We'd probably actually get quite bored, because I think it is the black that makes the white so fantastic, and that's why there has to be both, and that's why that's the way that the universe is. And it's all very deep stuff, but it's stuff I'm trying to learn a lot more about, and I've got various books I'm reading, or trying to get into at the moment. I've got so many, and I'm really looking forward to, when I move, having evenings in front of the fire reading instead of watching the blooming useless television. And one of the ones I'm about to read is God's Secret Formula by Peter Plichter. I'm not quite sure how to say that name, but I think that's how you say the surname. And I've read the first chapter. It's hard going for me because it's very mathematical orientated, and that's never been my leaning. I think we do all have leanings, so we have to accept that we do all have various things that sort of impassion us, and things that don't. And numbers for me has always been a bit of a nightmare, but it's a little bit unfortunate, because I do believe that the whole universe works from numbers and numerology, so it's a little bit unfortunate, but there you go. But I will bear with it. It'll probably be a slow read for me, but I do really want to read that one, because it is all about deciphering the riddle of the universe and the prime number code, and I know that's key. I do realise that. Another book that I am so keen to read and I need to get into is, and it won't be that hard because this is an absolute gem, it's written by a lady called Ffyona Campbell, and Fiona's actually a lady who spends a lot of time out in nature. She's had an amazing life so far, travelling around the world, meeting all sorts of people, and she was actually married to Ray Mears for a while. I'm pretty sure they're not married anymore, but yeah, they were for a while, and so they obviously taught each other a lot. I just wanted to read out the first paragraph in this book, which I posted on Facebook the other day, because it's so truth-telling, I think. And this is what she said in her first bit. Quote, "When I was walking around the world through the whole spectrum of human development, I noticed that the happiest, healthiest people I met were the hunter-gatherers. Bushmen and pygmies, Aborigines and North American Indians. They seemed to have such a lightness of being and such a depth of understanding that I could never see them asking questions like, why are we here? Or who made us? Or what is the meaning of life? Because they already seemed to know the answers." And that's from The Hunter-Gatherer Way, Putting Back the Apple, and I absolutely love that phrase, by Ffyona Campbell. All very, again, very honest stuff that makes you look. This is what I am striving towards now. That's what, for me, the future is about. When I move to the farm and everything is about this existence, this whole realisation and knowledge of so many things that have been forgotten for so long because of the materialistic world that we've been pushed into. So this is what I want to be reporting back on, and only for to share again as far as I can. And I just wanted to end with a few quotes that have touched me recently in the last couple of days, starting off with this one. "We can be as tough as iron. There are even ways to develop strength through training systems. What can't be taught or brought about from the outside is compassion. The gold is in remaining kind and caring to others and not reacting as if everything is a battle. Even if there is a battle, the battle is in the way we perceive the situations, not against one another." Tellez. Enlightenment is a destructive process. It has nothing to do with becoming better or being happier. Enlightenment is the crumbling away of untruth. It's seeing through the facade of pretense. It's the complete eradication of everything we imagine to be true. Adyashanti. Energy is the currency of the universe. When you pay attention to something, you buy that experience. So when you allow your consciousness to focus on someone or something that annoys you, you feed it your energy, and it reciprocates the experience of being annoyed. Be selective in your focus, because your attention feeds the energy of it and keeps it alive. Not just within you, but in the collective consciousness as well. Emily Marutian. I'm going to end there because I'm getting tired now. And keep your peckers up, folks, and help each other. That's what we're here for, okay?